Hello and welcome to yet another subjective audio review, and today I will talk about the Kinera's flagship. I really like Kinera as a company because they have a vision, and their vision is to create models that sound good but also models that looks beautiful and artistic and unusual. I reviewed many their models. Some of them were good, others were great. They created a lot of stunning designs, like, for example, Freya, also, and many others actually, but Freya probably the first model that came to my mind. And they have sister brand Queen of Audio with a lot of interesting releases too. But Baldr 2, second revision of it's their flagship. It's model that uses 4 Sonion electrostatic tweeters, 2 Knowles balanced armature and dynamic driver. It's a tribrid model, and of course price is pretty high. It's about $1,200, and definitely there is one thing that we can be sure that this model will look stylish and beautiful. But of course everyone is interested in sound, so let's have a closer look and let's find out about their sound. So, earphones came in the traditional hexagonal box. I really like it. It looks great and at the same time not pathetic and big. On the front panel you can see the main features outlined, and as usual on the back panel lot of interesting information like frequency response and information about specs, 22 ohms of impedance, less than 5% distortion, and 109 decibels of sensitivity, so, and also what's inside, so everything is legit here. They were wrapped in plastic, of course, and I already removed it. You know, it's really pleasant unboxing experience. You open this box like some chocolate or taste or sweets. Inside there is a booklet with explanation what is Baldr, what they selected as a materials for the shells and why. It's always interesting to see how creators thought. Also short booklet about the final audio tips, really like that. And here they are. You'll get nice leather case. Let's pull it out. I want to do it accurately because otherwise I will knock down my phone. It stands in front of me and sometimes I hit it and it causes sometimes bad fallout. Nice set of tips. So here is 5 pair of final audio tips, 2 pair of forms, earpieces themselves, and probably there is something beneath. Actually, not sure what is it. Probably it's just some spacers. Maybe in other versions they have some extra tips, but here they decided to go with final audio ones, and that's it. Also you'll get adapters for the 3.5mm and 2.5mm earpieces themselves. Let's pull them out and I will share with you a precious moment of protective films removal. And stock cable probably is inside of this case, so yeah, I was right. Oh, here what is the idea behind that? You'll get cleaning tool and you'll get 2 additional set of tips, and actually you can put them here. So when you unpack it, you can throw away these rubber cylinders and put that tips there. Nice and interesting touch and smart idea that shows that product designers thought about the design. So traditional gray tips with red stems and actually also something pretty familiar, but let's see it closer. Looks like regular black silicons, yeah. Good tips, but my bet is that 95% of users will use them with final audio tips without even unpacking these ones. At least that's what I'm going to do. So let's put everything aside, and here they are. So definitely stylish, unique and unusual look. They made of stabilized wood, interesting combination of faceplates. You can see all faceplates have random design, random texture, so they made of wood, and wood has unusual texture, so Baldr and Kinera written here. This golden ring add a bit of luxury touch, made really nicely. That lock finish looks great. Three bores in the spout, so spouts have average length, even slightly longer than average. They have no lip for holding the tips, but they are expanded to the end, so they should hold the tips well. They have pretty good length, so sound isolation is above average. Wearing comfort is good. It's traditional shape, that semi-custom shells. I don't think there is much sense in describing the design. You can see it yourself. In my opinion, it's definitely one of the best looking models in this price range and even in the higher ones. So stock cable, actually, you can see has a pentagon connector. Nice touch that shows that Kinera understands what is the main type of balanced connections nowadays. So here is stock cable, 2-pin connectors. Let's try. So it's left one and this one is right. So let's try how it's fitting. Sockets are slightly recessed, but not too much, so won't be issues with finding third-party cables if you'd like. Actually, I've got another Kinera IEMs for review and pair of their cables. We'll definitely try them together. So nice fitting and holds really well. Not too loose, but at the same time not super hard to disconnect. So, but you'll need to apply some force. There are of course ear hooks, and cable itself interesting. It's goldish. It's really soft, comfortable, not getting hard when it's cold outside. Small splitter with bead-like chin slider, and after a splitter it goes down braided to the jack. So to summarize this part, I think you can understand my conclusion here. They look great, they package great, they have great accessory set, so all exterior things are done on the absolutely great level. And of course about the sound, so if you'll decide to buy them, they require a slight burn-in, about 10 hours. I burned them in for 60 hours, but there were no big changes in sound after first 10 hours. So if you'll decide to buy them, I think there is not much sense in spending separate time burning them in. You can just start experimenting with tips and they will burn in during that period. And finding a proper tips here is pretty important to achieve the maximum performance in terms of sound. I used final audio tips as I was intending, but I used the size smaller than I usually use because they have a pretty extended spout, so tips go deeper here with these in-ear monitors. And let's have a player on the table. You can see that with 2.5mm connectors, this jack plus adapter is pretty big and not super convenient, but luckily you can get third-party cable, you can get some other adapter. DD Hi-Fi, for example, makes pretty ones, or you can get a more modern player that already has a pentagon connector. And for the Baldr 2, Kinera decided to create A natural, pretty technical sound with slight accent on the low frequencies and treble to add a bit of spice and makes everything more engaging. When I speaking technical, I don't mean focusing on the microcontrast or resolution, not too clinical or too analytical, but without big colorations. So low frequencies are nice, but probably it's not the model for those who want boosted low frequencies. There is a slight accent on the bass, but it's not big. At the same time, they have a really good quality of low frequencies, nice resolution, slightly focused on the attacks and decays, meaning a bit drier, but technical bass with really great texture representation. And to my ears it sounds like balanced armatures here goes a bit to the low frequencies area and adds some resolution on the mid bass and upper bass, while dynamic driver shifted more to the deeper layers of bass to provide sufficient punch and amount of air pumped. Of course, it's just what I hear, it's not the precise information, it's more of assumption, so I can't be 100% certain here. At the same time, low frequencies are really technical, not super dry, but pretty fast, really good with acoustic instruments and all that stuff. With electronic music they are also pretty nice to my ears, but probably people who listen a lot to electronic music will prefer slightly more boosted low frequencies. But as I listen to electronic music only time to time, for me it's more than enough. But it's a really subjective thing here, of course. And first example of lows, it's Daft Punk, Lose Yourself to Dance. Exactly proper amount of low frequencies to my ears. Maybe slightly more would be nice, but for me it's not critical. But once again, it's a subjective. But here is the track where low frequencies here really shine. So it's Louis Armstrong and Duke Ellington, and the track The Beautiful American. They have a really nice acoustic bass here, but at the same time, as it was traditional for the records of that period of time, it's not boosted, it's not accented, and it's not moved forward. So it stays on at the same level as other instruments, and many modern earphones lose it or vice versa, exaggerate it. And this model really represents it with a proper amount and with good level of detalization. Mid frequencies is, really what you can expect from good balanced armatures. Clean, with good resolution, slightly more focused on the microcontrast, but not too much, not being too analytical or something like that, with slightly accented upper mids, but also not overdone, meaning a bit of additional clarity and space, and with focus on the small nuances and details. They are pretty critical for the quality of records, but not overdoing that. And they don't adding any weight or not boosting dynamics, so you'll need really good properly recorded tracks to show their full potential. Or you can pair them with a more weighty source if you prefer a bit of additional weight. But what is present in the track they will definitely bring and play. They are also really good in building imaginary stage. It's above average in width and close to maximum in depth. Width is not at maximum, but on a good level, and at the same time sounds really realistic with proper positioning of instruments. Especially good there with female vocal, but male vocal and instruments also sound pretty nicely. And first track, really unusual for such a video, it's Ephel Duath. I really recommend it to you if you like experimental black metal, avant-garde black metal, and genres like that, crazy mix of everything, pretty heavy, with a lot of distortion, screams, and at the same time with a lot of small interesting details and nuances, and this model delivers it really nicely. Not super sharp and focused, but at the same time with a good amount of details necessary for this track. And second example, it's Layla by Eric Clapton, unplugged version. I don't know what about others, but I really like this classical unplugged version of Layla. I like it more than plugged one or traditional one. And this is a really good live record with a good sense of audience, and this model delivers it nicely with a lot of nuances, thanks to the nice, well-defined treble. And also, of course, acoustic guitar and Eric Clapton vocals also delivered nicely by these earphones. And treble is another strong part of these earphones. They prepared that Sony on tweeters in a proper way. Treble here is balanced with good resolution, but at the same time not sharp, not forward. They have above average extension, they have a really good layering, proper attacks and decays. So nice, well balanced treble, not as forward as usually played by balanced armatures, more balanced and more natural. And in this aspect I really like the treble here. It's probably not the choice for those who want super boosted treble, but at the same time, of course, for treble sensitive persons it's better to listen them before buying, because treble here is still present. But thanks to that electrostatic tweeters, it's really flat and without some unnecessary accents. And that gives you that great sense of airness, it gives small nuances, small decays and stuff like that. Really nice treble performance that I like. So, first track is from Chesky 30th Anniversary Collection, huge box set of different records made by Chesky Records. If you like jazz and if you listen in headphones, it will be a good choice. So, Kenny Rankin, Haven't We Met? Nice classical jazz track with pretty forward trumpet that plays perfectly by this model, with good vocal that is also represented nicely, with a lot of things that goes through the treble area, and Baldr 2 played greatly. And another jazz track, it's Charles Mingus, Jelly Roll, also forward, slightly aggressive, but at the same time, thanks to the treble performance of this model, you'll get all the treble details, but they won't be sharp or extra annoying. In terms of pairing, they definitely require some player of upper mid or lower top segment to show the full potential. It's not the model to plug to something cheap or affordable, and definitely it's not created for the smartphones or something like that. And speaking about the conversions, actually Kinera's own Nana, I didn't test second version, if I remember right. I only tested first one. Maybe I'm terribly wrong here, but I remember only first one. And this model definitely a step forward. It's more balanced, more natural and more musical. And what we have in this segment also, Unique Melody Mast, it's more monitoring, more focused on the technical details, more focused on the micro contrast and stuff like that. So this one is a bit more musical. And of course, sweet pair is Andromeda and Solaris. So both Andromeda and Solaris have more boosted low frequencies, and they have more balanced armature treble with faster attacks and decays, and with more forwardness in the treble area. While here treble is a bit more refined and bit better defined to my ears, and they have a bit less bass, meaning more balanced and slightly more mid-forward signature. Probably I missed some other models that can be recalled here, but this video is already pretty long, so it's time to do some summary. The Kinera definitely managed to achieve that price tier that they were targeting. It's a really honest model. It plays at that level where what they are asking for. Oh, sorry, yet another model that I reviewed recently. It's Fear Audio 5x5, but it's simple. Fear Audio has less treble and sounding bit more comfortable than this model. So Fear Audio for those who want less treble. And let's go back to the summary, because Kinera made a great model that plays on that level that they are asking for, delivering good value, especially if you like that balanced signature and if you're a fan of good, well-defined treble and at the same time not super sharp. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a nice day.